Mic check 1 2 1 2. Is this thing on? Yes, it is. It is live with the QCB on your radio, Fox Sports Radio, Charlotte to be exact. Number to the show to join the conversation. That's easy money. 704-227-8986. Yes, the WHINER line is back. It's on. It's popping. Anything in the world of sports when to get off your chest, call the WHINER line and whine about it. That number, 704-227-8668. Hold on, I got to hear something ignorant.
Just generally speaking, and not here, but and not that this matters because this is here. But, you know, in other aspects of my life, we have people for 20, 30 years that work for me. Nobody ever leaves me.
Okay. Catch my show live with the QCB on your radio station HD2s, okay? If you got one, you got all of them. I'm talking 1019 HD2, 1047 HD2, 951 HD2, and 979 HD2. The signal is stronger than Sylvester Stallone in the movie Over the Top. It's stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. It's stronger than Morning Breath. It's stronger than Mark McGuire's cheekbones back in 1988. Also, come and find me on your HD2 like Indiana Jones found those kids in the Temple of Doom. Also, catch me live online at foxsportsradiocharlotte.com and click Listen Live. We're live on my Instagram page, Real QCB. We're live on Facebook, The Real QCB. We're live on my YouTube channel, The Real QCB. We're live on Twitter, Real QCB. Hold on, I got to hear something ignorant.
Just generally speaking, and not here, but and not that this matters because this is here. But, you know, in other aspects of my life, we have people for 20, 30 years that work for me. Nobody ever leaves me.
There's 13,421 ways to listen to my show. If someone comes up to me and says, well, Q, I heard you back on the radio, pal, but I don't know how to find your program. As soon as you say that nonsense, I'm going old school Triple H and give you that pedigree right where you stand. Man, day is going to be on. Topics on deck. NFL free agency, March Madness, etc., etc., etc. We got a lot going on. But in the studio to ride with me today, we taking it back. Former NFL player, Super Bowl champion with the Kurt Warner, the St. Louis Rams. Because I said it's something crazy. My man Frank Garcia, what's up, man?
What's up, my man? How are you? It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back, and man, riding with us today, man. This guy is responsible for Sports Talk Radio in Charlotte. I'm talking the guys that's still on now, Mac and T-Bone, my man Colin Hoggart, all of them guys, Mark Yarborough. You talking about Gary Williams, who's doing national stuff for the Golf Channel. We're talking Taylor Zarzour. We're talking Pac-Man. Guys who came through, busting loose. Frank Garcia, Brinson Buckner, Ray Farmer, who went on to be the damn GM of the Cleveland Browns. Steve Smith, I know he's NFL Network, but he was on these airways, on this microphone. Any athlete that came through, had any type of on air on the other station that we was at, they had to go through him. I'll talk to everybody. I'll talk about.
You know he's not your boss no more.
Listen, this guy hired me in 1999. Hired me in 1999. At the gate, gave me 5 years at the gate. Coolest boss ever. And I think DJ maybe cussed me out maybe twice. I was a good employee.
Is that it?
Maybe twice. And the reason he got me one time because I had played a whiner who said something about
you better get ready for that dump button because I told him, that thing's got a dump. First of all, she's running the board, which scares the crap out of me.
Hey, first of all, it's DJ the Sue Stout. Welcome to the show with DJ. Second thing he said to me, after speaking to me, he said, Q, who's running your board?
I never saw him do anything like this in all the years he worked.
Oh, man.
His show on like 16 different things in front of him.
DJ's, man, he trying to say, Q, got to get you back the Monday through days, get you back, Monday through Friday, man, full time. So he gave me this knowledge like he's always done. And I've been trying to get him on, but, you guys, y'all doing your things, y'all busy. But, man, so good to have you here, man, for real, man. Damn, so good to have you here. Yeah, so listen, hey, we know what's going on, but let's get right into it. I used to do a segment called What You Did Last Night, but we ain't got time for that.
Know what we did last. You don't want to know what I did last.
Let's jump into the NFL free agency, man. Panther fans aren't happy right now. Currently, the term dumpster fight has been used to describe what's going on with the Carolina Panthers. Panthers had a win of 6 in 7 years, hadn't won over 7 games in 7 years, and at least multiple coaches, 5+ coaches since Coach Rivera left. DJ the Sioux Stout, before we get into the Panthers free agency, is David Tepper becoming one of the most incompetent owners in professional sports?
I mean, I think it's hard to argue that he's not at this point in time. Everything that he's touched on the most part since he's been here from a sports standpoint is a disaster. He's been through several coaches on not only the football team, but his MLS team. He had the whole Rock Hill disaster.
Right.
So, yeah, I think right now he's got to be looked upon as probably the worst owner in the NFL. I hope that changes. I know he thinks bringing concerts to town should boost his positive, positivity, but I disagree. I think, which I love the concerts, as I'm in that business, and the more the merrier. But he needs to win some games on the football field, and hopefully get these coach choices right. I think he did. I like these guys, but the one thing that I've told myself now when it comes to the Panthers, and I'm always positive. Frank will tell you, I'm always too positive. But
he's a Panther homer almost.
Well, I would say,
I mean, he loves his Panthers.
I look at the glass, half full.
Right.
But now I'm just going to wait and see. Like the new coach, I think
Canales.
I think he looks, everything I've read about him, everything I've seen him talk about, what the players have played for him, what the other coaches that have coached with him, everything I've seen, I like. Same with the new offensive coordinator. Dan Morgan, I did not think that they should have given him the job at the beginning, because I felt that, he learned under Fitterer. So is it just going to be the same systems? But then the more I read and talked to people inside the organization that told me that Dan was opposite of Fitterer on a lot of those big choices that were made. And they didn't dive into which ones, but they felt that he totally would be a different kind of manager than Fitterer was. So far, I mean, look, the Brian Burns situation, you could have got 2 firsts for him a couple years ago. They didn't. That's a mistake. I had no problem with them getting rid of him. I thought paying him $30 million a year, $28 million a year was way too much for his production. When you look at the other defensive ends in the league that get paid that much money, they're all a lot better than him, in my opinion.
And they're every down players.
Yeah, every down, exactly. I had no problem with them letting him go. I wish we would have gotten a better package, but now when you're looking at what some of these other teams are getting for some of these other players, like Justin Fields for a 6th rounder, and getting a second and 2 fifths. Looks a lot better now, but the most important part of that trade to me was it freed up $24 million. This team was not one player away from winning; they're about 10 players away.
There you go.
Well, I mean, they're in a rebuilding stage for sure, and I think the biggest problem I think a lot of fans have is when you let guys like McCaffrey go, he goes on to win the MVP, and then you let DJ Moore go, and he has a productive season in Chicago. I think some of those things had to have happened, and I don't know if they had to happen when they did, but McCaffrey leaving here, I think, was a big, I guess, a negative for me. You don't trade away Hall of Fame players, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. The other guys I can understand. Burns, like you mentioned, he's a 3rd down specialist. He gets sacks when he's healthy. If you look at the film, you turn it on, you watch. From a coaching perspective, as a player's perspective, when I watch the film, I turn it on, whatever side of the ball he's playing run defense on, they're running the ball at. So they're running the ball right down his throat because he's a smaller guy, likes to run around blocks. Dante Jackson, I think that's addition by subtraction. He's an average player.
He had to go.
But the amount of money he's making, and I think I still never sat well with me with the way that he threw the coaches under the bus and putting him in 0 coverage on the goal line. Okay, that may have happened, but if you're going to be an elite cornerback, you don't say anything. You go out there and defend. And you have to, if you have to pass interfere, okay, that's fine. But you don't get torched for 99 yards against the Falcons, when you go 0 coverage, and that's the call they made. So that still kind of sits in my craw. I think that's addition by subtraction as well. The players they're going to get, in return, we'll see. I think bringing the receiver from the Steelers over, he's a speedy guy. Deontay Johnson, he's a speedy guy. I've watched a lot of him play, and he makes things happen in space. The question is going to be, can we get the ball to him? And before letting Bradley Bozeman, I mean, that was an average to below average center. Great, he did a lot of things in the community. There's a lot of guys that do great things in the community. Can you play football or not?
Well, so does Jeff Reed.
Yeah, and Jeff Reed can't play anymore. Neither can I. We do a lot of the great things in the community, but the bottom line is, you get the job done, and are you making guys around you better? I think that's the one thing that Dan Morgan is going to bring, because I think he understands, that aspect of it. And Fitterer, DJ, this as well as I do, and now running a business, and you run a business, and that you got to put people in position to succeed. Just because you're a good guy or because you have this or that, that you have going for you, doesn't mean you're necessarily going to fit the role that you're in. And I think that's one of the things that the coaching staff did a poor job with last year, is putting guys in position to succeed. And honestly, the coaches that aforementioned that we talked about, there's been 5 of them. That's obviously way too many. You can't have that type of turnover. But it doesn't matter if you have Vince Lombardi. It doesn't matter if you have Bill Parcells. It doesn't matter who you have coaching the team. If you don't have the players out there in positions to succeed, you're never going to have success. And I think that's what Dan Morgan's going to bring. If the big question mark is if Tepper allows Morgan to do his job, because I think with the one thing that Richardson, got dinged for as an owner was too much hands-on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, we've seen with Tepper, and it goes back to the decision. I don't care what they say. I mean, you can like the quarterback we have now, but when you have another guy going out there and winning Rookie of the Year, and Justin Fields is doing this and doing that, and you don't teach first rounders. First rounders are born; they're not bred. Right. Justin Fields was a first-round talent, and they should have taken him.
You're talking about Stroud.
Yeah, so CJ Stroud.
Yes,
well, hold on. We're going to get to Bryce Young, because I think
Bryce Young, I think is I don't think he's part of the problem, but I'm not sure if he's going to be a big enough part of the solution.
All right, we're going to get to Bryce Young. So what has David Tepper done right?
That's a good question. I mean,
what has he done right?
Here's what I will say. He doesn't appear to be scared to spend money.
Right.
And we've been through that with ownerships in this town too. Like,
that's right.
Yeah, Richardson had a whole year where he wouldn't spend a dollar.
And Michael Jordan didn't spend money.
If you spend money in the wrong areas.
Well, yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that at least he appears to be willing to spend money. So that's one thing. Like, a lot of owners don't spend money, and
okay,
we just haven't been able to take that money and buy the right players with it. And that goes to Fitterer or Tepper.
Well, it depends on who has those decisions. Right.
Same with the field. I mean, he won't spend money on putting grass back in there, where every single player on the team has come to him and said, change the grass. People are getting hurt, and you see it all over the league. But
Messi wouldn't come to Charlotte. We had grass.
Well, tough. You must have to hit that but at the end of the day, like Frank said,
yeah,
he has been willing to spend the money. The guys he's had in place to spend it haven't done a good job. I will say this about Dan Morgan real quick about spending money.
Yeah.
The one thing I do, everyone that is a Panther fan and have watched his team knows that their offensive line was horrible.
Yes. Worse in the league.
Worse in the league.
Okay.
And that he had no weapons. Like, nobody can argue that.
Nobody.
And last year we knew that too.
Most drop passes of any receiving core, and on third down or in man coverage, they had the worst analytics and stats of any team in the NFL.
Exactly.
The worst.
And so knowing that, we knew that last year too. We also knew last year we needed a quarterback. So we had 3 problems. Fitterer drafted the quarterback. He did not do anything. He was bust on everything else.
That's right.
I do like the fact that Morgan, right out of the gate, signed 2 huge offensive guards who are both very good players. If you read the analytics and you see them play. And I like the fact that Canales and Morgan both had said that they had studied a lot of the Saints stuff over the past 15 years of Drew Brees, same size as Bryce. And the one thing that Sean Payton believed in was having huge dudes up the middle, because quarterbacks hate when the pocket folds up the middle.
You can't see, number one, when the pocket gets collapsed.
Yeah.
Even if you're smaller, you don't have those windows. So when the pocket's collapsing on guys, they can't. So they don't have the ability to have the vision to throw in those windows that we all talk about.
So he addressed that right away with 2 really good guards. They're going to put Corbett at center, who's bigger than Bozeman. And there's
and he's more athletic.
Yeah, and those guards are. I mean, those dudes are.
So I mean, and what you said right there, DJ. I mean, you love baseball, you love basketball, right? And, Q, we all talk about sports all the time when it comes to building, foundations. You have to be strong up the middle, Any great team has got to be strong. When you're in baseball, if your middle of your infield isn't strong, you're not going to win many games, including center field. Same thing in basketball. If you don't have that core group of guys that are the foundation of your unit, whether it's defensive line or offensive line, you are not going to be able to run the football, and you're not going to be able to stop the run. And if you can't do those two things when it counts, not just on 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 10, run a 7-yard play or 8-yard play because they're in prevent defense, and then you have to punt. I'm talking on 3rd and 1, on 4th and 2, on 4th and inches, on 3rd and 3. If you have the ability to run the ball up the middle, you become a dangerous unit. If you have the ability to stop the run up the middle, you become a dangerous unit. And I think that's where I agree. Morgan has done a really nice job, at least putting pieces in place that are going to at least give us an opportunity to be able to do that.
And on defense, he signed Ashawn Robinson too, away from the New York Giants. He's the 3rd-rated defensive tackle versus the run. The 1st-rated is Derek Brown. So now, like you just said, fixing up the middle. He got 2 huge guards now on the offensive side, moving Corbett to center, and now you've got Derek, the best 3 against the run. So, I mean, who knows how these players turn out? And again, you have to wait and see. But as far as those early moves, I think he's nailed it. I thought the trade for Johnson was, he's in the top 7 and getting open in the NFL.
Same amount of touchdown passes.
To answer your question about Tepper real quick, what has he done right? Nothing.
Right.
It's hard to argue that.
Simple answer.
Right. We got more free agency talk because I want to get in detail with those guys you was talking about. Hey, DJ, give me a Frank Garcia story, man, for what a break.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God, I got a bunch of them. But I'll tell you one that was funny when I decided to put Frank in as a host for the first time.
This is true.
CBS was making a cut budget, and I really had 2 choices: either use some of the guys that I liked that I knew weren't ready to host yet, or have them put on syndication. And local wins over syndication every time.
Okay,
from a money standpoint, from a rating standpoint. So Frank had retired, and Frank worked his butt off. People didn't really see how hard Frank worked at preparing, and he did. And so I said, Frank, we're going to give you a shot at this, and so
I remember the day. I
was out of town.
On a golf trip.
On a golf trip. And Frank, it was during the summer, and Frank calls me.
Oh, it's during the middle of something.
Okay.
There ain't
nothing. We did all the top 10 listening to do.
And he didn't just put me in. He put me in 5 hours away.
He threw me in the fire.
He threw me in.
And he calls me. I'm on a golf trip, and we had just finished playing 2 rounds, boozing the whole day, having a good time. Frank calls me, and he just sounds panicked. I'm like, what's wrong? And I do this. I can't memorize all these stats, and he starts naming all these things. I'm like, first of all, you don't need to know the 10th and 12th player on the women's basketball team at Charlotte. You don't need to know who leads professional bowling association.
I had pages upon pages.
Right. I said, I love the fact you're over preparing, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't need. So first of all, peel back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then this is the worst time to host sports radio because there's nothing to talk about. And that's why all of our guys are on vacation that time. And so this is the worst time. But I promise you, if you keep working at it like you are, by the time we get to football, it's going to be easy, and you're going to feel so much better about it. And he stuck with it. And about 2 weeks after that, though, this is funny. I was driving somewhere to a meeting, and I'm listening to Frank. We were broadcasting live from somewhere.
Yeah.
And in radio, when you go to break, you really don't want to say you're going to break. You want to just kind of go out on something strong. And that's why the Panthers, are going to be great next year, and you go to break.
And I'd lost all words. I didn't know what to do.
Our average break length was like 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Frank's going to break, and I can tell he's starting to get tangled. He's losing his words. And he goes,
Lord.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in like 10 or 15 minutes.
Gary Williams drove up the road, and he called in. Right after this. That's the best radio set off.
15 minutes.
Ran into a bridge.
That's like that was a whole sitcom back in the day.
It was Buck and I when we first started. Yeah. We were up at the lake somewhere doing a remote at I think Chuck Howard's place. And I was like, we're back about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I was cool too. 10 minutes. We're back in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
I needed a break. I was tired.
There's also the time where I walked by the studio during Frank's show, and he went in there, and I looked into the studio. Where's Frank? He said, had to leave, he got a call from the IRS
Oh yeah.
saying that he owed him money.
I
and
remember that.
he didn't pay him right now.
I was running around all of Charlotte, checking my head cut off, trying to get some money.
And they said, "Don't hang up the phone. We're gonna call the cops." So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Frank can't hang up on these dudes because he finally gets to like a Rite Aid or something
Yeah, right.
to get money.
My fourth stop. Right.
And the dude was like, "Man, I think we're getting scammed."
They end up getting scammed.
About
Yeah.
$7,500.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I got DJ the Sue Stop, Frank Garcia. We'll be back about 10 to 15 minutes, right? All right, DJ, don't shed no tears, man. No, that's your song, man. Shout out to Papa Stout, man.
This happy. Yeah, this is one of the best ones.
I saw DJ Stout cry only twice. When he told us we was leaving, Frank, you was back there too, and he wasn't going with us, and at his Pop's funeral. So
You forgot the third time though.
what was the third time?
We were in heading to a strip club, and I put him in a figure 4 because he thought he could step up to me. I had him crying really quick.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I didn't cry, but I tell you what, there's two people that I challenged to wrestle that within 10 seconds I realized it was a mistake. Frank was one of them, and we had left the Belt Bowl. That was in Charlotte. I forget who played that game, but I would always get a bus and a bunch of my friends and my dad and Frank, whatever. And we were going to a local establishment afterwards, and somehow wrestling came up, and I told Frank,
come on,
he tried to step up.
He folded me up like a lawn chair. and then the next one was Steve Smith, and Steve and I were always good buddies, and we were in the studio over here one day, and this is when he was playing too. So he was, I mean, I still wouldn't want to wrestle him now, but
yeah.
And he and I always talk crap to each other. And anyway, he said, "Come on, then let's wrestle." I said, "All right, let's go." And I reached down to grab his leg, and when I did, I felt like 3 or 4 muscles that I'd never felt in the leg before. I've got strong legs. I play soccer. He had like 3 or 4 muscles I never even felt before.
Oh, man.
Same thing. I think he had me. What I normally would say, I can't say on the radio, but he had me folded up too within like 8 seconds. So
that's dope, man.
Obviously, wrestling is not my forte.
Man, welcome back live to QCB. Got us on Fox Sports Radio Show. Check us out live online at foxsportsradioshow.com. Got my man DJ the Sue Stout and Frank Garcia in the building. Quick DJ story. So I had just came on. DJ hired me and everything, and I have been going for about 2 months doing them comedy sports flashes. And DJ said it was like, "Q, it's time to get you out in the public." You know, I was like, "Okay, cool." Everybody was asking about you. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? And I said, "Okay, what we going to do?" We was doing the show from Dixie's on 7th Street.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm going to get you a limousine, and I'm going to put 2 girls in there, Daisy Dukes and bikini tops." I say, "What?" I say, "Damn radio fun." I say, "What?"
Why did you send that for me today, dude?
I know,
You ever heard of reciprocation?
Right. So I said, "Yeah, man, I got you. I said, "All right." So I was still at the city of Charlotte. I was just from the league to put my notice in. I came over here, and man, sure enough, DJ had that damn limousine out there. They don't do limousines no more. Had that limousine out there. Had them 2 girls. They opened the door for me, the bikinis and the Daisy Dukes, and of course DJ got in with me, and we went over to Dixie's. Then I did my oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, is this a before or after you're doing that spot for leather and lace?
That's way before.
Well, you know, when a lot of people don't know this, they'll ask me like how we hired QCB, and Q was going to the Carolina School of Broadcasting, and he was working for the city, laying like those ropes across the road,
traffic
counters, and he came in to get an internship, and Allison that ran Carolina School of Broadcasting was great, and she would call it sometimes.
What year is this?
Shoot, this is probably 90.
98, because my first year.
This was after. This is right when I started too.
Yeah. I got a story when I first met you too, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I hired Q as an intern. And
but let me tell you how he hired me though. So he had been hearing my little sports flash. So he come in, of course, he got the suit on. He said, "I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna see if he this funny."
Put a little pressure on you.
What? So I got my material, and he put his headphones on. All right, Q, let's go. So I go in the studio with Pac, and DJ sitting there with his headphones on. I was like, "Oh man, I did good." And when I finished, she said to get in my truck. We went uptown, get some softball trophies. And he said, "Man, I want to offer you a job. I want you here full time." And that's how he gave me the.
Well, we didn't know. The thing about Q is one of his jobs every day was to go take the WHINER line calls and edit them and get them ready to play. And so for a month or 2, there was this dude that would call the WHINER line named the Queen City Bastard, and he was hilarious. And Pac-Man would laugh, I would laugh. Like
they would play him back. Let me hear that one again.
Yeah, like he was just really.
Was he the one that was impersonating Jordan?
No,
this was way before that. Before that.
But this Queen City Bastard QCB guy was just, and all he did was just take craps on all Charlotte teams. He crapped on the Panthers. He crapped on the Hornets. I mean, everything.
You'll see Charlotte, everybody.
Anyway, John Meade Perrell left to go back to Boston, and so that job opened up that Q was just talking about. And Q, when he came in, my office goes, "Hey man, I want that job." And I'm like, "But I don't think you're ready for it yet, And you keep working hard, but you're not ready for it." He's like, "Dude, I'm telling you." He goes, "You listen to the WHINER line, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You ever heard of that QCB guy?" And I said, "Yeah, he's hilarious." And he goes, "That's me." And I went, shut up.
Yeah.
And I said, do it right now.
No way.
Yeah.
He
I had
was the
no
QCB,
idea. Oh,
and that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how
And
we
then
got-
when we gave him the job, Pac-Man and I would sit with him before the show every day for like 30 minutes and help him with his material, because even though he was funny, you know, crafting that was a whole different ball game, you know, and Pac was great at keeping it moving along and all that stuff. But yeah, he got the job and crushed it, man.
And one time Pat came, like, I was like doing my stuff. That ain't funny. That ain't funny. That ain't funny. So I got mad. I went down to the office to DJ. I said, DJ, man, I don't know what's up, man. I'm doing my stuff. I'm the read the damn Charlotte Observer, USA Today. I went out to the paper, my websites. I got he said, this ain't funny. Like, what I do? He's like, Q. And he took his finger and he tapped on his chin. He's like, you gotta. I thought he was talking about chin nuts. I ain't know what the hell he was talking
I was talking about that. I don't know what point you're
He's
saying.
like, gee, you gotta take it on the chin, man. You gotta take it on the chin. Just work through it. And man, I would come down to DJ's office and Pac would do that. And DJ said, okay, what you got? Well, how about you say this? So he would help me write my flash down in the first, like you said, a few months till I got, you know,
acclimated.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Pac was doing it to make sure he's working. And
he's he's definitely putting the pressure on him. On the rook. He was putting some pressure on the rook.
That was wild,
just
man.
Just like a good coach would. And so, you know, there's times I had to be the bad guy and there's times that not. But in that case, you know, Pac would get on his butt. And you know, I knew that was where I could step in and really help him and write with him, which I wrote a lot of stuff too.
Well, I'll tell you what, Q. I mean, of all the things, and we always talk sports, but you brought some levity to the radio, and you still do, obviously, and you still are. But there's nothing funnier than the Love Doctor. When you would do the Love Doctor,
you told me to bring. I got to bring that back. I got to bring that back.
To bring the Love Doctor. I would tune in driving home after I'm done with my show, just for that. And I couldn't turn,
because you would tell me like, you don't love that today. I'm like, I'm doing today.
I couldn't turn it off. That one and your NCAA Legends.
I still do those.
Yeah,
do those. So when I first met Frank, before we get back to the Panther talk and all that good stuff we're talking about, Frank was in there co-hosting with Pac. I walked in the time for Frank. You don't like this guy? Check this out. Queen City Bastard, QCB. So I come in there, I'm doing my stuff, and I like take shots at you, and then you say, what do you think about that, Frank? He live. He say, he funny, but Pac, who's this guy who's about to get his ass kicked?
Well, we did. That was always something we had to worry about because he would make fun of so many athletes and people in town that
they wouldn't know, right? Yeah.
And then when they
was
would
like, this guy's serious, or is he just cutting up?
I remember the late Steve, Steve Joyner. Steve Crump.
Steve Crump, yeah, man, yeah, WTV.
But I remember Hugh used to mess with him bad.
Yeah.
And it was fun and games, and Steve was great with it. Steve loved FNZ. He was a big fan. But I remember one day he was up here, and I forget what you said, but he was mad, and he did not like it. And
I think I called him like Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
Exactly
you know what I'm saying?
Or the dad
and I kept going with it. Family Matters.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
That's when DJ would call me in the office. Now he gives like, you just kind of chill. Like when I used to talk to mess with Bobby Lutz.
Yeah,
I just call him Cheap Suit Lutz. Yeah. You know, man, it was crazy.
And I'm the one getting all the phone calls, all these contracts I'm signing from the team.
I'm sure you've got a lot of phone calls on all of us.
Oh my God,
on all of us. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the suits office over there as he's taking the heat for all of us.
Yeah,
because he had to.
Because that's what we all know about it.
And he'd call us in and he'd tell us in a subtle way, hey, listen. Just take a step back.
That's what he would do. Yeah.
Don't stop being who you are. Just take a step back.
Turn it down a little bit. We got a cease and desist from media from Channel 36.
We had several of those.
Yeah.
The worst call I ever got from one of the teams, and he and I have ended up being good buddies. Great guy.
Ramsey?
No, Fred Whitfield.
Oh yeah, from the Hornets and Bobcats back in the day. Yeah.
You're
gonna have to stop this. You're impersonating Jordan.
Well, we had that guy that would impersonate a lot of guys, but his Jordan was great.
His incredible.
And Pac. It was the day of the draft, and I was literally on the baseball field getting ready to coach my kids at 6 o'clock at night, and my phone rings, and I see it's the Hornets.
And Pac's the type.
I went,
and Pac's the type of guy. If you say don't do it, he's going to do it 5 times as hard.
And Pac did not like that organization, and so I went, Pac or QCB had to say something. Like, no reason the Hornets would call me at 6 o'clock, and I answered, and it was Fred Whitfield, and. I've known Fred for 20 years. I've never heard him raise his voice ever, except for this call.
That's wow.
And Pat, it was the day of the draft, and Pac had that dude that could do the
We
Jordan.
called him MJ because we didn't want to. Yeah, MJ.
He had him on, and he had him acting like he was on a golf course. Didn't know it was a draft night. Had no idea what positions they needed. Like, it was actually very funny.
It was hilarious.
But we had told them that we wouldn't do that anymore.
Oh,
and
man.
Jordan still wouldn't come on our show, which is what Pac was so mad about, that Michael Jordan would never come on the show. And so he had that MJ came on, and man, Whitfield was mad. Like
wow, because he is soft spoken.
But I did
man.
tell him, I assured him after that, it'll never happen again. That was one of those times where I did have to come in and say, hey, look, that ain't happening again.
Right.
You know, but yeah, Whitfield, he lit me up, man. I was like, oh God, I never heard him raise his, he's always so cool and calm.
If people knew how many times that this guy had to go to bat for us, Q.
They would, Charlotte Observer.
Well, not just in that. I mean, just
classic.
I mean, our own station.
Yeah.
For our own station. He was having a fight almost every day.
Oh, yeah, for us in-house.
In-house.
With the dudes
so that we could stay together as a team.
Yeah, my guys need to be
show.
here. He's always saying, my guys need to be here. My guys need to be here. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, we had a great team, and I knew that once they started cutting budget, like I said, if you lose a local show, you rarely get it back. Now, it happened to us a couple times. We got it back, but you rarely, when they're cutting money, they're not going to give it to you again. So, that's why we did carry Colin Cowherd for a little while. And we did carry, back in the early days, Fabulous Sports Babe or whoever.
I remember the Fabulous Sports Babe.
Yeah.
Steve Zabin.
Steve Zabin, we carried him, and then we hired him.
Yep.
And he worked here for
I remember
about a
that
year.
commercial when he was a referee. Yep. Referee commercial.
He was here for about a year, and then Matt Pinto and Jerry
Pinto.
Valancourt.
Yeah.
Who I started in the radio business interning for the JV.
Was you here when Michelle Tafoya was here?
She left right before I got
okay.
here.
All right.
But Dave Jagler was here, who's been the Washington Nationals.
What's up, tell you, man? You don't see a lot.
If you can think back over the years and look at the people that have run through this building.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I remember Pauly Shore, and he's not even the biggest one. I mean, some of the music artists that would come
Kenny
on.
Chesney, remember Pack had a country music, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Pack said, I don't know who you are. Kenny said, I don't know who you are neither.
Yeah.
And they just laughed it out. Yeah.
I remember I said
Nelly came in the box.
Roy Jr.
Roy Jones
LL Cool J, James Brown.
Yeah.
People don't I tell people
James Brown, yeah.
We're in here with 6 stations. And James Brown was tearing that Bubba's barbecue up.
Loved it.
And he had wanted some more. Barbecue. I mean, man,
we used that as a promo for years.
I gave Pac props. Who was dying laughing in the producer studio, and Pac was holding his own. Hey, Mr. Brown, what's your favorite song? Right now, it's "Give Me More Ribs." Like it was, man, it was crazy. What you say about the Kenny Chesney thing?
I remember when Chesney was coming because I also ran the country station, and he was releasing a new album that day, and he was flying to 4 different cities. And Charlotte was one of his bigger cities. So they called the DJ Chesney to come by the station, go on the air with you and whatever. And so I said, all right, well, I'm going to make this pretty cool. So I had people bring some sand into my office, and I made a bar in there. And I had Mike Yates, who's a Charlotte guy and worked as a Republic, great guy. He brought a bunch of liquor over here, like a temporary bar. And Chesney at the time was sponsored by a certain rum, but he didn't drink it. And he drank some other kind of rum. I forget what it was. So he always had like a little X on the bottle that he would drink whenever you'd be with him. So I even had all that set up. So he comes in and he goes on with Pac, and we're drinking in my office and drinking. And he ends up staying like an hour longer than he was supposed to. And then when
he was having a party.
Oh, he was hammered. And by the time he was leaving, there was a whole bunch of people who had heard him on the radio that had looked up our address. So there was a whole bunch of people standing outside. So we had to get security to get him out of here. He was like an hour and a half late to Atlanta. But
I mean, those are great stories. But the one about Jenna Jameson, this is before the PC police started coming on the radio.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. I was here. I don't know. I don't remember
that happened. That story with Jenna was over at the other building on 4th Street.
Before, it was before.
Behind the dry cleaners,
like 97, 98.
Yeah. Okay, because I got here 99. Okay, damn. Can we?
No. You want to revisit that one?
We gotta wait till off the air.
That's off the air story.
Dude,
we there's a bunch of those. When we had the Uptown Cabaret was a client, and
Dominic,
and they would bring these these female entertainers in town, and they would come on the air with us, kind of like the Howard Stern stuff.
Now, I was here with some of that.
And, I was but some of the stuff was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh man,
I'm a big fan of Jenna Jameson to this day.
You Oh man, it was. We got so
There's a
many
lot of
stuff.
things we used to be able to say that we can't say no
Well,
more.
first of all,
Oh, yeah.
the doghouse that Jake Gurley, rest in peace, Jake Gurley. You and Jake Gurley created and built. Man, that's like Las Vegas. We can't tell them doghouse stories.
No.
And shout out to Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly Fossing and Daryl and Stacy and all of them. Yeah, man. Run
Yeah,
that
thing
thing.
still
They're
rocks,
still
man.
running.
I still
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
One of my good friends and business partners still manages all the bar in there. And so I still go in there whenever I'm going to a Panther game or a Charlotte FC game or concert. So, it's still the place to go, I think.
Now, was you there when Nate Conley and Frank got into it?
Oh, yeah.
Which time? I remember
which time?
One day
When they got physical.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, he said something that I didn't like, and I took my roll of papers that I had, and I don't know, it
not
was just
rolling papers, a roll of newspapers.
it was a roll, it was paper. It was like a little crumbled up piece of paper, like
Nah, man, but
3 or 4 of them.
you got bangs in your arms, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
but
man.
still, I mean, you get hit with it's like getting hit a roll of tissue.
Did he come out to the office? Was you there?
Nate came down to my office.
He came tattletale.
And, he shut the door.
Frank hit me.
And I could tell Nate was mad. And Nate's a tough dude.
That's what I'm
Nate
saying.
served
Yeah, he's in the
army.
army. I mean, yeah,
he's a tough dude. And so he shuts my door, and I can just see he is pissed. And I'm like, again, I'm going
because he wanted to. He wanted to step up, but he really didn't want to.
But I said, what happened? He's like, Frank just popped me in the head with a newspaper. And I was like, what? And he goes, I said, was he kidding? He's like, no, we were arguing, blah, blah, blah. And
he didn't tell you what he said, what he told me, did he?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he said he called you the B word.
No. It was just a trigger for me.
Yeah, whatever it was, I know that
Man.
you popped. So I said, all right, Nate, then I had to go into manager mode. And I said, all right, Nate, well, there's 2 things we can do. If you want to go to HR about this, then we can. And
He talked him off the ledge.
You can file a complaint, or we can go talk to Frank and just smooth this whole thing over. You guys are buddies. You do the show together. You argue all the time, but you're brothers, and we probably can go smooth this over without having to go through. But it's totally up to you. And
I mean, if we want to get down to brass tacks, I mean, there's many a times you could put the shoe on the other foot and say that I could have went to HR with some of the things that were said. But at the end of the day, we're 2 brothers, and he's a good friend of mine today, so he would enjoy this story. Just like I mean, heck, DJ and I have been in arguments, and never pushing, shoving, or things like that, but things that are said and of those natures. Yeah, it happens, and you get a bunch of guys that are having a good time that are a little bit alpha male. And you challenge them, you step up, you get hit with the newspaper every now and then.
I mean, it is having working for a sports radio station or any radio station, but sports in particular, it is a fraternity and it is a locker room.
Man, what down the hall, man?
Yeah, people would be in my office, checking in all day, talking sports, or did you see that play, or or arguing about stuff, with games, and so I think people don't really realize that it's not just walking in and doing the show for 3 hours. It's the whole day is nothing but prepping. But
what the funny thing is I remember Buck and I having a conversation, and I got so under his skin that he started sweating.
Oh, he was sweating like
he was sweating.
Damn.
He starts. I mean, Q, when a man starts sweating when they're talking, they just he was mad.
But we got to remember, you guys are football players. We don't see that because y'all switch it on. We don't get that part of y'all.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We do. We turn it on. We can turn it off as soon as it's over. We whatever's on the battlefield is on the battlefield, and that's the way we kind of looked at it. Hey, listen, after we're done, and he had said something about being an English major or something like that, and I said, an English major from Clemson? Are you? And I don't remember what the whole story was, but he got hot and was sweating.
I had to go in the studio, and Buck was standing up, sweating like bullets.
And he thought we were going to fight.
I thought they were getting ready to fight.
Damn,
I ain't getting in the middle of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2 bulls in the China shop right there.
Mad,
and he was mad, and I was laughing, I was teasing,
and you still going.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
Frank's.
Am I going back down? I mean, I played against the guy.
Right.
I mean, so we went back and forth.
How did you fan that out?
He didn't.
No, I did. Well, I just told them both to calm down, And
we knuckled it
yeah,
out.
and just fist busted. Look, calm down. It's ridiculous. I mean, you're arguing. You know,
He's like two kids. He's like treating us like
whoever
kids.
ran the board, it might have been Yarbrough. Whoever
Oh,
it was.
Yarbrough was scared.
I
think Yarbrough was the one that called you.
It was. I have a direct line in my office.
Yeah, it was y'all. Had to be
It was,
Yarbrough.
it was, hey, man,
JJ, you gotta get down here now.
No, get down here.
Oh,
And,
my goodness.
Yeah, that was.
It's about to go down.
Buck's doing good. Buck's, he's coaching, still in the NFL, and
we had to go down memory lane, man. We got that guy in the building, man, DJ the Sue Stout. So, hey, country music got a new face, right? Like
what, Jelly Roll?
I mean, it don't look like old country music people. Like no more George
Isn't that
Strait.
what we used to call you?
We used to talk about them hot dogs.
Them hot dogs.
No, wasn't Jelly Roll?
It was hot dogs. Hot dogs back in the
Every time I
day.
went by QCB, I craved onions and hot dogs every time. I mean, in the
Chili
bun.
and cheese.
I wanted to get him an endorsement where we just painted them rolls on a bag and said, hot dogs.
We'll be back more loud to QCB, man. March 21st, 1977. Welcome back live to QCB. Got us on man. Take me live online at foxsportsradioshow.com. Click listen live. We got former NFL made up in here, man. Frank Garcia, my man DJ the Stu Stout, who's responsible for everything that's Sports Talk Radio in Charlotte right now I'm getting him his flowers right here.
Mhm.
We talk about the Carolina Panthers going down memory lane. So we talked about it earlier with the guard Hunt from the Dolphins, over 3,300 snaps, gave up 12 sacks. That's amazing. DJ Wanham from Minnesota
Yeah, the
had the
linebacker.
same amount of sacks as Brian Burns had last year, 8. So, and then Deontay Johnson, another Pro Bowl receiver that was added to Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen had over 1,000 yards last year. Now you got Deontay Johnson here with them. So,
well, they're also talking about bringing potentially Mike Williams. I think he visited the Panthers today as well.
So right now,
So did Gallup from the Cowboys.
yeah, right. Wow, that'd be a good one right now. So right now, so Bryce Young, he has no more mulligans, right?
No, I think Frank and I argued about Bryce Young throughout the year, and
I don't want to hear nothing about his size.
Not well,
because that's irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant.
No, it's relevant, but
It's definitely relevant.
Hold on, help me out. Because let me tell you something. He only missed one game, and that's due to an ankle injury.
No, listen, I'm not saying that. Listen, the kid was durable, and he had no offensive line, no weapons. So, but this year, they appear to be fixing that, right? So if these guards do what they did in Miami and Seattle,
absolutely, and Corbin's coming back like you talked about earlier,
back in center. They're not done adding weapons either. Whether they sign Williams or Gallup or one of them, they got
the draft.
I gotta
another
believe
week,
one of those first round picks or the 2 second round picks is going to be a receiver, and there's a lot receiver depth this year, maybe even into the 4th round. But the thing about the size is, like I said, and I thought it was fascinating when I was reading what Canales and Morgan said about how Sean Payton built the New Orleans Saints offensive line. And Frank, you obviously as a guy that played guard and center, that, because of his size, you can't let him get pressure up the middle. It's the worst thing you can do. If they can protect up the middle, they feel that gives him another second half, 2 seconds. And when he did have time and when he did have windows to throw in, he was one of the top 10 accurate quarterbacks in the league. He was durable. I think that game in Seattle that they held him out, I really think he could have played. I think they just were like, we're not going to throw him to the wolves after what we've seen the last 2 years.
And I'm not giving up on Bryce Young. So let me make that very clear. I think there's still a lot to be determined about him as an NFL quarterback. The only thing I'll say is that when you're drafted number 1 overall, you have to make guys around you better. You can't, you talked about a lot of really good things that are important, but they're all to make him better, right? The best players make other guys around them better. They don't need those players.
The situation way different, though, Frank.
No,
we all
not.
agree.
Listen, CJ Stroud has the similar type of players.
Come on.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
When CJ Stroud goes out there on the field, if he played with the Panthers, they'd had 4 or 5 more wins. That's my opinion. Because I think that what he would have done was he would have put more pressure on the defense, and they would have taken the pressure because of the way he plays the game. He would have taken pressure off of other players on this team, whether it's getting rid of the ball, whether it's being able to run the ball, whether it's using your legs as an option to run the ball. And I'm not saying that
even though his line was better in Texas.
Was it
better?
Was it?
His line was a lot better.
Why? Because he made them better.
Because he didn't get sacked that many times.
Because he made them better.
His weapons were
because he was capable of escaping, and the play calls are different because of those things.
Nico Collins was a top 10 receiver.
When you look,
Tank Dell was one of the top rookies in the league.
Never heard of those guys.
That's true, but
never heard of those guys before Stroud got there. So
now that's true.
So that being said, right? I'm not saying we're all of a sudden going to start catching passes with our receivers. Our receivers were still bad.
But we disagree that the O-line was bad for the Panthers.
Our offensive line was so bad.
You gave that stat.
He would have made them better.
CJ
Stroud would have made them better. Bryce Young needs those guys to make him better. There's a big difference between being the number 1 overall pick and being a first rounder. And again, I'm not saying that Bryce Young is not going to be a good player. If he gets the pieces around him, he could be a good player. He's capable of diagnosing defenses and reading them well. He's capable of throwing an accurate pass.
He can make the passes, yes.
But everything has to be.
His capability this year was a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. He ran the ball great. Not that he wants to do that, and he had no choice many times. But I thought his escapability was much better than I anticipated it would be.
So and because I think if I were to evaluate this team and look at the problems that they had, Bryce Young is not the biggest problem.
I agree. Now we agree on that.
He's not the biggest problem. But my point to this is that when you're drafted in that position, number 1 overall, you've got to make guys around you better. You shouldn't be having to sell the farm and formulate everybody to, be that guy. That guy has to make those other guys better. whether it takes time, whether it evolves into that, however it might figure out. Bryce Young is not that type of player.
What about the receivers who couldn't get separation? Well, like Mingo,
they couldn't get. I'm not.
Right.
I've already said that he's not the worst problem.
Okay, all right,
right.
Yeah,
you don't have a quarterback that's capable of running with his legs, and Cam Newton is a good example.
Yeah.
Cam Newton came in, and he's not the most accurate guy, but he changed the way defense. He had a hell of a year, and eventually.
I mean, he went 6-10, but he had a hell of a year, broke records and everything. But he also was in that refrigerator too.
I mean, yeah, no doubt about it.
We ain't seen that.
He's born a first rounder.
Right.
He's born the number one overall pick. Bryce Young isn't that guy. There's a lot of Bryce Youngs that are out there. Okay. Why did we take Bryce Young over a guy that could have given you the potential of having a Cam Newton type of year?
You want Stroud?
I wanted Stroud.
Okay.
I think that Frank Reich wanted Stroud. 100%. I'm positive Frank Reich wanted Stroud. They're not going to ever say that.
You told me that
They're
last
never
time you was
that.
on. Yeah.
But when the owner's wife is making the decisions,
no,
when the owner's wife,
they say she wanted Stroud. They said
no, she wanted Bryce Young because of the interview. Because of the interview, she wanted Bryce
Definitely
Young.
got our hands in decisions. Yes.
So I mean, when you have $20 billion, here, honey, you take this. Get off my back. Go run this over here.
Right.
You take care of this.
Right.
And some of these decisions, when she's out there on the practice field and evaluating coaches and talent.
Now that's unreal, dude.
I mean, and it's not that she's a woman. I'm not being
sexist
here.
No.
It's the fact is, what is her experience?
That was the old days when we was on the radio.
Well, we would get into but that's not the case anymore.
Not the case, right?
We have to be PC.
Absolutely.
So when we're out here talking about these things, what is her knowledge to know?
Right.
Where the coach is going to improve, what the players are going to do. Same thing with when you're looking at the owner. Where's his experience? I mean, he saw the Steelers do. Okay, great. You saw Ben Roethlisberger play, but you don't have the experience that Jerry Richardson had where he went out there and played the game, and he has the ability to say, this needs to happen. That player's not doing this right. That's not the way you tackle. This is not the way, because he did it for 30 years. Right? You're not going to get that with an owner that doesn't have that ability to do that. Let the coaches do their job. Let Frank do his job. Let Dan Morgan do their jobs. There's too much micromanaging taking place. And when you asked earlier about the owner, there has not been one good thing that he's done so far.
Damn, not one good thing. Not even. Well, DJ, you alluded to the hiring Dan. I like Dan Canales.
Okay, we don't know yet.
And Dan Morgan, but yeah, we have to wait and see.
We don't know yet.
But right now, I like the hire.
Okay, I'll go hire.
Come on,
Bill Parcells and Bill Polian. If I'm telling them what to do, what good is it if they're hired? We don't know. We don't know those things. We have to wait and see.
Well, listen,
and we've had a track record now.
Right. We put this out to the break. We'll come back. I want to get DJ opinion on Panther fans, because you've been going on Panther fans. We'll talk about these Panther fans, man, and keep it like right here live with the QCB Fox Sports Radio Show. Let's go. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It is live with the QCB on your radio, Fox Sports Radio Show to be exact. Number to the show to join the conversation. That's easy, mucho dinero. That number 704-227-8986. Yes, the WHINER line is back. It's on. It's popping. Anything in the world of sports when they get off your chest, call the WHINER line and whine about it. Hold on, I got to hear something ignorant.
Just generally speaking, and not here, but and not that this matters because this is here. But, you know, in other aspects of my life, we have people for 20, 30 years that work for me. Nobody ever leaves me.
Okay. That's about showing your radio HD2s. That's right. If you got one, you got all of them. I'm talking about 104.7 HD2, 95.1 HD2, 97.9 HD2, and 101 HD2. The signals on your radio HD2 reach from here to Fraggle Rock. The signal is stronger than Kurt Russell was in the movie Big Trouble in Little China. It's stronger than Sylvester Stallone in Over the Top. It's stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Commando. Come and find me in your radio HD2s. Like Indiana Jones when he found those kids in the Temple of Doom. Also, catch me live online at foxsportsradioshow.com. Click listen live. We're live on Instagram at Real QCB. We're live on Facebook, The Real QCB. We're live on YouTube, The Real QCB. We're live on Twitter, The Real QCB. There's 13,444 ways to listen to my show. If someone comes up to me and says, well, Q, I heard you back on the radio, pal, but I don't know how to find your program. As soon as you say that nonsense, I'm going old school, Four Horsemen, NWA, and give you that Tully Blanchard slingshot suplex right where you stand. Riding with me today, I got my man Frank Garcia in the building, former NFL player, and also my man DJ the Suit Stout, the creator of All Sports Talk Radio here in Charlotte, man. What's going on?
Nothing, man. It's been fun reminiscing, talking those sports, telling some stories.
Q, if you know how many times DJ and I have talked about doing this together. It's the first time I've been friends with him for 25 years.
Don't say it.
25 years.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever done a show together.
Damn.
First time.
That is unreal.
I went to the bank with Frank when he got his first $1 million paycheck from the NFL.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was a long time ago.
I was like, hey, he's getting $1 million check. My check's got like 2 or 3 zeros in it. His has got a bunch. And I remember he had a Lincoln Navigator.
Yep.
Let me tell you how cool DJ was as a boss in this business. So when he signed me to my deal, right? He said, all right, here, Q, 5 years, whatever. Bam, okay? And my contract said 11A to 7P, right? The show didn't come on at 3 o'clock. And I said, okay. He said, Q, you got to be in here at 11. He said, you get here at 1 if you want, 2, as long as your stuff's straight, you're good. He didn't micromanage me. That's what he told me. So that's why I became an insomniac, because I would stay up late. I could go to bed at 5 and wake up at 12. 4, wake up at 11. But I made sure my stuff was straight. He didn't micromanage or anything. Man, you was such a good dope. You was a dope. I mean, we weren't messing around. We was doing our stuff, but you was like, Q, hey man, do your thing. Do your thing.
To this day, in the businesses that I have, if you get the job done, that's all I care about. I don't care
how you was cool with that, dude. You was cool with that.
If you get the job done and you're prepared, I don't care. I don't have enough time to worry about it.
You was cool with
that. The only guy that I can remember that worked for me, who finally was never prepared, and he wasn't a bad guy, but we had a show on at nighttime from 7 or 6 to 9 called the Players Club. And this is like the late 90s, and it was Tim McKyer, Ray Farmer, and Sean Wheeler. Sean just got into the ECHL Hall of Fame, by the way.
Oh, shout out to Sean Wheeler. That's the name I forgot. Yeah,
Sean's one of my good buddies.
Yeah.
But Tim McKyer, man, like just wouldn't prepare. And Ray Farmer, Duke educated, smart as a whip, always was prepared. He loved to argue about as much as Frank did too. Ray loved to argue. And then Sean, hockey player, and he
had a little Canadian accent.
Yeah. But
T-Mac, I used to do the chocolate rocket, a belt. Yeah.
But T-Mac would just not prepare. So finally, it was one night, and
y'all almost got in a fight.
Yeah, Ray and Sean were just pissed that he just continuously showed up late and all this. So I went in there. I said, "Look, dude, this ain't gonna work, man." So and he had just bought a new car, like a Fiat or something, some ugly looking little car. And I said, "This is not working, man. I mean, I don't know how else to get through to you. I've told you to do this, and you're not prepared."
That's not the whole story.
You tell me when he's about to fight T-Mac, right?
I did try to fight him.
T-Mac had a lazy eye as well.
He did.
And DJ said, "This is what got him going. Look at me when I'm talking to you." That's what got him
going. No, it did get heated though, and I remember telling him I was going to beat his ass and take that piece of crap car he had out there that he was so happy with. And Jake Gurley, I remember, came and grabbed me and said, DJ, just, I mean, I was taking my tie off, man.
Oh,
I was
man.
ready to go.
Like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Coming
And
out of his suit.
DJ isn't the biggest guy in the world. I mean,
Oh,
he's sturdy and he can fight,
Yeah.
but he thinks he can beat Hulk Hogan in a wrestling match. He ain't afraid.
Oh, man.
So he was going to take on T-Mac right there in the
Oh,
building.
I was ready to go.
He was, man. DJ, he like I said, he never really had to get on me like that. But one time he would just precaution me. Like the Fred Lane stuff happened. He said, Q, I know you about to do your flash today. Now just don't. He said, I said, DJ, no. I got to say it. Don't say nothing about the Fred Lane thing. I said, I ain't gonna say nothing about the Fred Lane thing. Same thing, Ray Caruth. But I had some Ray Caruth material, and I told you, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you was like, nah, something crazy what happens. He's like, Q, I don't know where you're going today, but you can't say this. Like you can't say this. So you would always be like,
PC.
You had our back, man. You had our back, dog.
We would go to the edge of the envelope, right? But there were certain times we had to be sent. I mean, I remember a time where I was getting ready to pick my kids up from school, and I was going through a car wash, and Mark James was on the air.
Yeah, Mark with a C.
And
as he got pulled over. We're talking about this time?
Yeah, the show just started. I'm listening.
Oh, yeah.
He had got a speeding ticket that day, and he starts the show off talking about how this cop gave him a ticket, and he just starts crapping all over this cop and the cops in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I literally, the signal was going in and out because I'm at a car wash, but my blood levels were going through the roof because
he couldn't get here fast enough.
Oh, because number one, you know, I'm a big supporter of the
CMPD. Yeah, we know a lot of friends. Yeah,
in Charlotte. You know, a lot of my buddies who went to West Charlotte and Hawthorne, all the schools I went to were cops. But man, I was so mad at him, and I called the board up and said, "Get him off the air right now.
Pull him, yank him."
I mean, he wasn't even on the show for 5 minutes. I took him right off the show.
I think you made him cry. One of them times you made him cry. Because he called me.
GMCs, guys may cry.
Yeah,
and I had a couple with him, but that one. I mean, I told him I was going to kick his ass all the way back to Miami, and I made him call the cop and apologize and
on air.
Yeah, I was out. Yeah, on air.
On air, you made him
DJ. You was like you. We had T-shirts that was WFSZ. Sports was balls.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wasn't messing. We was men, dude. We wasn't messing around.
Just think over the last 25 years how much sports talk or radio in general has changed.
Yeah, what
you could say on the radio.
Sports 20 was balls.
And I remember Pacu saying, he says, you know, DJ, here's the problem that I have. I never know where that line is at. It's always moving. That line could be here one time. It could be just over here the next. So, you know, DJ would let you come up to the line.
Yeah.
Right. And even let you cross over, but he wouldn't let you go too far. He'd always reel you back in once you realize, you know, you're going a little too far. That's where you get the phone call. The bat phone would ring. But dial it down, Q. Dial it down, Frank. You know, and, you know, it's just us doing what we do, telling it how it is, or you making fun and you know, get back in the kitchen and making sandwiches.
Yeah.
So you can't say that stuff anymore. And it's just changed so much.
You can't, man.
Over the last 25 years. The PC police have definitely stepped in.
Before I get to your stuff, how you feel about the fans, stuff we got to talk about. So this is when DJ really got on me. It was me and Hitman, right? Tony DiGiacomo, the Hitman. Because we used to mess with him. You even told me and Nate used to bust on Hitman. All of us used to bust on Hitman a lot. DJ just like, Q, just turn the back on Hitman. He came to me,
he's going to be upset he didn't get the call to come in.
Right. So something had happened. I think it was a bowl game or something. I played a WHINER. It was either Continental Tire Bowl or something. And they ripped whoever was sponsoring that day or whatever. And Hitman had made a mistake on something. I need you guys in my office before you come on the show. And we walk in there, and DJ goes off on Tony. Tony got mad. Tony walked out. He walked out. I was like, damn, Tony walked out. DJ, I just do, you know, Tony go 100 miles an hour. I can't take it. Now I'm in there by myself. And he got Tony first. And now, Q, what you thinking about, you know, playing this, and my thing was I looked to the right, and Tony left the door open. So everybody in the sales department.
Because that's one thing I didn't do. I wouldn't yell at people in front of people. I don't like that.
I'm like, dude, the damn door's open. So I got
to only close the door and yell loud enough so everybody could hear.
Oh, my God, man. And Chris, the office was right beside his, and she said, Q, you all right? I said, I'm good, man. She gave me a hug, man.
Turn around. Q, let me look at you. Yeah, you still got a little left.
Yeah, DJ, you was off the chain, man. We love you, man. So how you feel about the Panther fans? Are they like crybabies? Are they justifiable in complaining, or nothing's gonna make them happy right now?
So
What's your problem with them?
It's not just Panther fans. You know, I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big New York Mets baseball fan.
Right.
Panthers, obviously, Duke, you know, Notre Dame. All these fan bases to me are pretty much the same.
Okay.
They're all going to complain when things are going bad. They're all going to think that this next signing is going to be the best signing. Because that's what you want, right? That's what makes sports great is the chance that maybe your team's going to strike gold this year, and maybe this guy that you just drafted is going to be the next Christian McCaffrey, or maybe Bryce Young's going to be the next Drew Brees. So I get that. What kills me though is when some of these fans go on there and just like Dan Morgan, for instance.
Okay.
The Brian Burns leaves, and all these Panther fans are torching Dan Morgan like he's such an idiot, and like I said, I didn't even think Dan should have got the job, but once they gave it to him, I learned a little bit more. Then I'm glad
that was a good move.
Yeah,
it was a necessary move.
I'm glad they did.
You can't pay a guy $30 million to be a half the time player.
Exactly. Like I said, you need 10 players on the Panthers to be better, not one. And freed up money, got picks, but anyway, they were killing Dan Morgan, and I'm like, the dude had no. I mean, I guess he could have given him $30 million, but now your salary cap's down to what? It would have been down to like.
So you got one player and you get a bunch of Joes.
Yeah, and by the way, the best player on the team ain't Brian Burns. It's Derek Brown, and it's not close. So if they're going to open the checkbook up, it better be for that guy because that dude's a beast. And I think they will. I may not be before the season starts, but I got to believe they're going to sign him. But anyway, some of these fans on Twitter. They just go crazy like after everything. But you know, on the opposite side, when we signed, when we did the trade with the Steelers and got Johnson, a lot of people now are talking about all of a sudden he's one of the top. And look, he's a good receiver. He's an upgrade over what we have. Now people are saying we shouldn't sign Mike Williams or Gallup because we're going to draft one. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I look at the receiver room and I'm not ready to give up on Mingo. I thought Mingo showed some flashes last year. Again, it didn't help him that the quarterback was getting chased down every 1 second either.
He was a second round pick too, wasn't he?
Yeah, we traded up for him. So, but he's a big dude. Like,
okay.
I'm not down on. I think this year, hopefully, but it's not guaranteed. So we should sign some more receivers. And I'll be shocked if we don't take a receiver with one of those first two picks. I would think a defensive end.
That's what I was asking. The first pick in the second round, we got the pick. I would go offensive lineman.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took a left tackle because the left tackle we have right now is not a left tackle.
Good segue. Equano, thoughts?
So I talked to Steve Smith about a month or two ago about Icky. And Steve does a lot of consulting with the NFL. Steve watches a lot of film. And Steve knows ball, and Steve is obviously not scared to call a dude out if he's, obviously with Jerry Jeudy and but here's what he told me with Icky, and I think it made a lot of sense, at least to me, who haven't coached, hasn't played in the NFL, hasn't not as familiar with these things, don't see him at practice. He said that Icky's an unbelievable athlete, maybe one of the best athletic left tackles in the league.
100%.
He said that his problem is, and he compared it to boxing, Icky wants to go for the haymaker every time. So that's why he's good against the run, because when he runs at a dude and gets him and he's run blocking, he's great because that's what he's great at. But when he's got a box pass rushing, he really struggles. Because every bit of his weight's coming forward. That's just the way he's built.
It's called terrible technique.
Correct. That's what Steve said. Now, Steve also did say that from what he understood this offseason, that's all Icky's working on is his technique. Now, I saw a video of him 2 weeks ago training with Calvin Ridley, and they were racing with those
Iguano.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was racing really, but they had those ropes tied to him, whatever you call them, to give you resistance rope. And Icky beat him, and it was showing some of these drills he was doing. And my point is, athletically, we all know he's a damn good athlete. Can he learn the technique?
Yeah, you know what I'd rather see him working on than the rope pulls and the resistance training. Him taking a pass set, him learning how to box.
Well, Steve said that this whole offseason, that's what he's working on.
Well, so, I mean, I don't know who he's doing it with.
I don't either.
And the biggest thing that his problem, and Steve is right for the most part. When it comes to his technique is terrible. He lunges, he overextends. He doesn't have great technique, and he's still young. He's still a young guy. He came out a year early after going to high school a year early. So he's like 2 years behind everybody else age-wise. Athletically, he is probably like a Walter Jones type. Walter Jones played for the Seahawks for years
and
was it could dunk, backwards, 360 dunk.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. Walter Jones was only 6'4". He's not the Orlando Pace. He's not the Jonathan Ogden. He's not the 6'7", 6'8". He's a 6'4" guy, 6'3", 6'4" guy. He has long arms. He has incredible athleticism. But his technique is terrible. And when you line up against the guys in the business, when you line up against guys that don't just have one move, they have 2 and 3, they're going to abuse him. And
what
they
do you
did
think the
abuse
difference,
him.
though? Was it the playbook? Because in year 1, his rookie year,
no, it's just technique. It's just learning how to.
His rookie year, I think it was the first 3 or 4 games, which were against Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
He got beat. But then I think the last 8 or 9 games of the season, he didn't give up a sack.
Well, the last 2 years, he's been top 10 most penalized player in the league.
That has nothing to do with plays. That has nothing to do with the playbook
or scheme.
Well, I mean,
why would that change?
Yeah, that could be. An offensive line coach said, "Hey, we have to slide the entire line." So all he has to do is he could take that big shot on this defensive player on the outside, knowing that his guard on the inside is going to be there to help him out.
Right.
So basically, you're double teaming. You have 3 guys for 2 guys,
right?
But you're having to slide to help him every time. If you have a bona fide, legitimate left tackle, you can isolate him one-on-one and eliminate that defensive player.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be on Orlando Pace. Not everybody's going to be
a
Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah,
not everybody's going to be those guys, right? But when you're drafted, again, it goes back to when you're drafted as highly as you are, the expectations go through the roof. And the good news is he has all the talent. He just needs the technique. And the technique has to happen over repetition and time again so that he can do it in his sleep. And I'm not sure, DJ, from what I saw on film, he wasn't the only person struggling with the technique. The offensive line in general was struggling with technique. So that tells me that the person teaching them the technique, isn't doing a great job of unifying those 5 guys and making them play as one.
Yeah.
So that has to change. And I'm sure Morgan will understand that. He'll see that.
And there's no way they're not going to add a left tackle. I mean,
well, it's not just letting the left tackle. It's getting the right guy to coach the left tackle.
Yeah. And they brought in the new offensive line coach that everybody loves. And so
you keep Icky there this season?
I think he starts there.
I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, think you start him there. The other place you could put him would be at left guard. But everything sounds like is they've brought the left guard in, so that would tell me that they're either going to trade him, but what doesn't make any sense because he's not making any money in big scheme of things. So you still have a potential valuable left tackle that is making rookie wage scale. Right, with even though it's first round, still good money. Don't get me wrong, but he's not making the big money.
Right,
he's not making the free agent, 30-40 million a year type of money that left tackles are getting paid.
Yeah, and they will. They'll add another left tackle just from the depth standpoint, whether it be through the draft or free agency. But I got to believe that those first 2 picks in the second round are either going to be a receiver, a defensive end, or a DB.
I think you got to go DN now that you let your.
So y'all done with the lineman? You don't want no lineman coming out the second round, first pick.
No, I don't think in the second round.
Okay.
The Panthers are in a position right now where they truly have to take the best player available because every position is below par. Every position group is below par. You could add value at any pick. Now, where you're going to add the most value are the most impactful positions, which are what? Left tackles, defensive ends, cornerbacks. That's the kind of the order, in my opinion, the way it goes. Right? It would be defensive end has the most impact. On a football, besides the quarterback. Quarterbacks, that's a given. We're not going anybody with quarterback. But defensive end, left tackle, and then, cornerbacks, got.
Left tackle, not so much. So that's why I agree. I think receiver and defensive end will probably. But again, listen, what if they get Chase Young or the other defensive end from South Carolina that we had in
Clowney?
Clowney.
If they start
Clowney's washed up. Clowney's not going to help.
He had his best year
I
last
know.
year.
He also had.
Could you get him dirt cheap though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he's not. He's
Chase Young would be who I would want because he's 24 years old.
Chase Young is a much better player.
Okay.
But he also hasn't played, they said, in this type of defense where he'll truly be like that outside linebacker.
That'll be dope.
Straight up defensive end. But if they get one of those 2 defensive ends, and if they get one of those,
I'd much rather have Young than Clowney.
Yeah,
all right. We're coming right back, man. I want to talk about the NFC South and the impact of the NFC South with Kirk Cousins and my man Baker Mayfield, who I thought should have got the start nod when he was with the Panthers. Don't take him out for a Darnold. Don't take him out for something called PJ Walker. You get
Dude,
Baker.
when Baker Mayfield played for the Panthers, he had more balls knocked down in 6 games than Bryce Young did the entire
They
season.
kept taking them out. DJ, keep them in the game, man. Keep them in the game.
I thought he was going somewhere else with that.
I almost did. I had to remind myself.
This is 1998.
Yeah,
Remember?
he was running the board.
That was
I
the
don't trust
QCB.
his
He
hands
got
to
more
hit the
balls
dump
knocked
button.
down.
Oh,
That
yeah,
stripper.
right. Common Alexa. We'll be right back loud to QCB. Welcome back live with the QCB. Got us on Fox Sports Radio. I got my man in here, man, my former boss man, the creator of Sports Talk Radio in Charlotte, man, DJ the Stu Scout, former NFL Panther, Super Bowl champion, my man Frank Garcia in the building. I remember it was an old white man in the studio. And you know, I'm a Yankees fan or whatever, and he was Tommy John. And I went in there and I did was, all right, Tommy, Pac-Man, you gonna like this guy. Check this guy. This guy's nuts. I said, Pac, who's this old white dude here? I'm talking all kind of jokes, and I loved you in Titanic and Cocoon and all that. I'm saying all that stuff. And Pac, I said, that's Tommy John, the guy that, he's a Yankee, Q. I said, the guy, the surgeon name out there. Yeah, it's Tommy John. I said, man, ain't no way in the world you would strike me out. And we started talking, and we set up the thing with QCB flushed to John.
Yeah.
And
Knight's Castle.
And so before DJ was, you got that famous photo. It's you talking to me.
Yeah.
Give me some advice.
Right, he's on the picture now.
Right. And Billy Pack was like, Q, if you even make contact, I think, like I said, I'll give you $1 million. It was something crazy. All I could do was make contact. Man, that man struck me. He threw like maybe 20 pitches. I didn't touch none of them because he was warming up. It looked easy. I said, damn, okay.
When he was warming up, he was throwing them in there about 68 miles an hour.
Tommy John?
Yeah. And then when it came down to competition, and he was older.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was
he
old,
had to be in
man.
his 60s. Tommy was a great guy.
He was
a great storyteller.
He can still throw
and,
like
you know,
that.
baseball is my favorite sport, man. So I would love the stories he would tell. But yeah, then when Q got in the box, and you know,
Didn't he do the same? Go ahead.
Q can't. You know, it ain't like Q's a
Stellar athlete.
Y'all
Yeah,
becoming the
thank
most athletic black person y'all
yeah.
ever met.
I mean, I don't even think it's close, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Did he ever play on the softball team?
Yeah, I did.
He
I did.
And you know what? That's as all
You
the
had an
coaches-
all-star team for your softball.
we had a
team.
great softball
Del
team.
Curry playing
Del
shortstop.
Curry and you on the team.
It was
and
crazy.
We were loaded.
So when
and,
Tommy John was sending them
I
heaters in
didn't
there.
let Q play on that team, by the way. No,
Oh, okay.
he played on the weekend team.
Yeah.
Like,
The media
no way.
league.
Yeah. The media.
Yeah,
And I
media
look
league.
back at the back catcher. He was sending them in there. I said, damn. I said, man, man, what team you play for? He said, dude, I'm in 8th grade.
Don't you love how Q calls the catcher the back catcher?
The back
Yeah,
guy.
the
The back guy.
The back catcher.
Well, didn't you do something like that with tennis too?
Yeah, Courier. Was it?
Pat Courier.
No, not
No.
Pat Courier.
No,
Jim Curry.
Jim Courier. I had to return his serve. And man, I did it by accident. It hit the
I think you
racket.
did get a piece of that, didn't
Yeah,
you?
it went up in the air. It was like a slow motion movie, and it landed in bounds
It hit
on
on-
it. Yeah,
yeah.
and I went crazy. I started riding the horse like Happy Gilmore. I put the racket through my legs. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
at the Palisades.
Yeah,
Man, we
that's
had some
right.
great times, man.
Yeah.
Man, we had some great times.
All the
man.
great FNZ golf tournaments we did,
Yeah.
man. Like
Oh gosh.
those were.
Oh.
those
Yeah,
were
on
great.
certain holes.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Holes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said holes with the L.
Yeah.
They don't do golf tournaments like that
Man,
anymore.
no. What y'all talking about?
If Kawhi Leonard is what you said, why didn't he fight harder over that pick? See, that's what Kobe did, what Jordan did, that's what LeBron did when he was in his prime. He fought over picks. So answer that question, Mr. Contextualization.
What in the blue hell was that?
What the hell was that?
Hey, man, let's one more. What the hell is Shannon Sharp talking about? Give me another one, Shannon.
Hey, guys, Molly talking about the heat, the dryer shrunk my clothes. No, the refrigerator shrunk your clothes.
What in the blue hell was that?
What the hell was that?
He's got some good ones. When I interned for Jerry V and Matt show, so this would have been like 96, 97. One of the things that, you know, they liked that I did was the Cubs always played at 2:00 in the afternoon. This is before their stadium had lights. And so we would always have the baseball game in one of the other studios. And back then you recorded everything on a reel to reel. There wasn't all this digital stuff.
Yeah.
But Harry Carey, the play-by-play announcer for the Cubs, who was awesome, every game he would say like 4 or 5 things that would just make you scratch your head or laugh your ass off. And so I would record these games and I would go back through and then I would cut them out and we would use them coming back from break or whatever. And some of them were just so funny that like the host couldn't even talk. Like I'd have to sit there for like 2 minutes and play it again or put bumper music on.
We had a show that would rival all that, you know, from the big nasties between Buck and I.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Good Lord. Man.
Put your foot on the other shoe.
So
Yeah. You guys definitely made up
people in
something.
stone houses shouldn't throw glass.
oh man. So what so the Panthers of course won 2 wins last year. What are the what will make you be like, you know what? Okay, they won 4, they won 5, they won 6. What's the realistic? Now, listen, we got another week of free agency. We got the draft coming up, but right now, the O-line has gotten better on paper.
Yeah.
I know it's March. It's gotten better. We talk about the Panthers. We know that Kirk is in Atlanta. We know what Baker and I don't know what the hell the Saints doing. I'm just saying, as of right now, I think they definitely. What's the realistic number?
Well, I don't know about number, but I know the one thing I would say is the reason I think that they do have a chance to have a much better year if they hit on the draft and free agency is the fact that I don't think there's any team in the NFC South that scares you. I mean, Cousins going to the Falcons definitely makes them a
contender.
A contender.
In the South.
They've got a great running back. They've got great receivers, tight end.
Yeah,
the defense is solid. So that they definitely look like they've got and with their new coach, they're going to play defense. I mean, he's a great defensive coach.
So Moore's down there.
Yeah. And so, but the Saints. Do they really scare you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't scare me.
And then Tampa Bay doesn't scare me. Tampa Bay's lost a lot of guys through free agency right now.
They still got that offense though, with Evans and Godwin though.
Yeah, you know what? They do.
And we're just talking about just the South, DJ. We're just talking about just the South.
Is
better than the Panthers.
Well, I don't know if it is.
We don't know.
Not now, because it actually suffered a little bit last year.
So,
they lost some guys. The running game.
So here's
average.
Nobody
scares you.
Yeah, but the Panthers don't scare you either.
Oh, no question.
Why do we feel like, because here's what I try to explain to everybody.
Okay.
Every team in the NFL is going through the same thing that the Panthers are going through. Right?
Every team is in a dumpster fire though. The Panthers were a dumpster fire.
And they are. So how have they gotten better when everybody else is also getting better? Where have we significantly got better?
I think the offensive line is better right now. Right now. I know it's March. I know it's on paper.
We can't
right
say
now.
that. We have no idea. We don't know if these guys can play or not. I don't think Hunt
gonna come here and suck though.
You got. I mean, if you look at it just purely objectively, you would think that bringing in these two big guards who have been great on Seattle and Miami are definitely going to be an upgrade over the 16 guards that we played last year.
Is that going to score? How many points is that going to be?
Let me finish. The other thing is this too. One of the things I would say would be a positive is the 2 wins that we did have last year. Bryce let us down on game-winning drives with no time left. So quarterbacks that do that are normally good quarterbacks. And I remember I sent you a list during the season of the quarterbacks who are great quarterbacks right now who struggled like Bryce did their first season. So I think Bryce will take a step. I think the offensive line is going to take a step. He looks like they're going to get him more weapons. They appear to be doing that now.
Yeah.
Defense. I think our defensive coordinator it has proven. And
that's going to be tough, though, DJ.
But let me tell you something. In Denver and like with the Panthers last year, Panthers had a lot of injuries last year.
I like Ichiro. Yeah.
He just figures out a way to stay in the game. So I think defensively, whatever the linebacker we got from Denver, the linebacker we got from Minnesota, the safety
Josie, whatever the guy name is.
The safety we just got Fuller. I love him. He's a dog. He's one of the kind of guys that Morgan talks about. The corner that we got from Buffalo.
Louisville hurt.
Say what?
Louisville hurt leaving.
I hated losing him. I mean, that guy was the kind of guy that I like to watch. But, at the end of the day, I think they'll figure on defense. It's really going to come down to offense. They're going to have to score points. Bryce is going to have to play better. The offensive line's going to play better. We have weapons. But in the NFC South, I mean, we were in almost every game. And I mean, Tampa, I think we were beating them before they came back and beat us the first game. And then
I think the division is either going to be the Bucks or the Falcons, but I think the Panthers are going to be trending in the right direction. You think J.C. Horn should come back? I think he got to go.
He's only been here 3 years.
He ain't been playing.
I think you got to keep him for this reason. You're right. He misses way too many games.
Way too many games, Frank.
When he does play, he plays
He doesn't,
very well.
He doesn't cost
What's that
it.
cliche? The best ability is availability.
Listen, here's the deal. Again, I don't know if the dude, his injuries have seemed legit. Like, I don't get the feeling like he's just.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's got one more year. It's not a lot of money. Like, he's still in a rookie contract. And so, and hope that he's going to be motivated to play his ass off to get that next contract. So I think you got to keep him. I don't think there are other starting corners on the team right now. I don't think they fear that. The guy from Buffalo, I think, is rotational. They brought back Hill, who I liked. He had a very good year. He's an Evero guy. The safety, like I said, that we got from Fuller, I like him a lot. So defensively, I think they'll figure it out. To me, it's just about the offense.
I mean, here's my problem, and it goes back to what I said earlier. How much better is Bryce Young going to make us? Because he is the key that if we're going to take a significant step in the right direction, that has to play much better. Yeah. How much better is he going to be than he was last year? Right? That's the unknown. But he's not that type of guy that you look at and say, gosh, he is going to win or lose us a football game by his athletic ability. He's going to need these other guys dependent on them. And that was my whole point when saying
do you say that about Brock Purdy?
Yes, absolutely.
That he's going to win a game or
no.
athletic ability.
No. Brock Purdy that's what everybody is saying about him, and I agree. When you listen to what Cam's saying about a game manager, he is a great game manager.
And he has a great line and great weapons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bryce is a much better athlete than he is.
No, he's not much better.
Dude,
he's not much
better.
He's not a much better.
When you see Bryce play basketball in his
videos, they're playing football though.
Well, guess what? Brock Purdy couldn't beat you in a race, and you have one
Brock
leg.
Brock Purdy's pretty fast.
He's not very fast.
He's actually.
You think he's more athletic than Bryce Young?
I think they're about the same. I think they're about the same. I think they're about the same guy.
I think he had a hell of a lot better offensive line and better weapons.
Absolutely. I'm not. We don't have those guys.
But what we're saying is and again, it's a big if. I'm not saying I'm buying it either. If you're asking me to buy stock on the Panthers next year to win over 6 games, I'm probably not buying it because I've made the mistake before of believing that these free agents were going to be right and the new coaches were going to be right. And under Tepper, it's not been right one time.
Do you know I
do think Bryce Young can be a top 12 quarterback in the NFL with an offensive line and with weapons. I think the kid's accurate. I like that. I think that's a fair. And if he is, that you can win with that.
Yeah.
You can win with that.
But it's going to take time to build those things, DJ. That's all I'm saying.
It's
going to take time. It's going to take time to get 5 guys up front that are playing as one. It's going to take time to get your stud defensive end that's going to be able to take over a game, your linebacker that's going to be able to run sideline to sideline, your cornerback that's able to stay healthy to finish a game. Because I do think that, Horn healthy is a good player.
Yeah.
I do think they have good safeties. Jeremy Chin, I think, is a top 10 guy, top 5 guy, top 8 guy.
He went to the Redskins.
Oh, okay. Well, he's gone.
But he didn't even play under this defensive. Everyone didn't play him.
And that's the other thing, too, is that not only are we talking about, these players coming in, there's going to be a completely new coaching regime where they're trying to learn, the standards of how things are done, how to practice, what is, Monday look like, how do we get out here and are we supposed to be physical? Are we supposed to be fast? What is our identity as a football team? Until they establish their identity, we're sitting here talking about, projections when it doesn't look to me any more than 2 or 3, just like this year. If they can establish those and start gaining momentum, then we can start talking about those things. But right now, they have not done anything significantly to separate themselves from the Falcons, to separate themselves from the Bucks, to separate themselves from the Saints. They weren't in a room to separate. They had to put themselves in a position to even get into the ball game.
Like they were already right. They weren't going to separate. They've been separated from. So what they have done, in my opinion, is at least
close the gap.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
And on defense, by the way, you're talking about it takes time to learn systems. That's another reason why I think on defense they're going to be okay, is because four of the guys that we've signed have played forever before, so they know his systems. They know. So defense happens a lot faster than offense. Yeah,
if your defense isn't dominating in preseason, then you're not very good. That's just the fact. It takes a while for offense to start, playing together. Figuring out systems. Being able to communicate without saying anything.
How hard is it for the offensive line adding 2 new guards?
And a center.
Yeah, and a center.
I mean, you got a whole new unit. You got a whole new unit in there.
Sure.
So again, that's going to be incumbent upon the coach to get these guys on the same page. And I don't know how good this coach is. I really haven't, to just be fair and honest, I haven't really studied to see, what type of scheme he has, what type of players he's
there's going to be all new tools. Yeah.
But it's going to be new to them.
Yeah.
If this is like a Hudson Houck or a Jim McNally, a guy that has pedigree that everybody uses what they teach, then I would be a lot more excited about that. But this is a guy that is an up and coming guy. He's had some experience. Is he just another coach that's going to help these guys get along? Is he going to help the left tackle get that much better? And I'll say this: the left tackle has to want to do that first. But that's a whole nother story. But right now, they look like an average unit until they can establish themselves and start playing together as a team that's going to run. And the other thing that I think that they really have not done themselves any favors with, and they can't, because they're stuck is Sanders. I think Sanders was the worst offseason move last year. They should have kept a guy like Dante Foreman.
Now, before the season, I thought it was the second best season in all season next to Aaron Rodgers going to New York.
And who?
Sanders, because he was third in the league in rushing.
But he played for the Philadelphia
No,
Eagles.
I'm just saying.
So
it's easy to say that hindsight, though.
No, I said it before the site.
You just brought up my point. You just totally nailed what I was going to say when it comes to Sanders, because I'm glad that they have kept him thus far, and here's why. Because when he was with Philadelphia Eagles, when they had that, I mean, their offensive line was the best in football. He was great, right?
Yeah.
He had a great offensive line.
He had play action.
Yeah.
He ran the ball. He got 5 yards of carry.
It was crazy.
You know, holes were being open like the Red Sea.
So I got to believe or hope again. Again, a lot of this is with hope, and this is when you're a fan.
Yeah.
That's where you hang your hat. Hopefully, with this rebuilt offensive line,
how many Pro Bowls they got?
How many between the two new offensive linemen? The guards, I'm not even sure.
I don't know if Hunt went.
That would be zero.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
but he's only gave out 12
don't-
sacks and
that don't
3,300
mean-
plays.
I mean,
no, that does
not
matter.
every team
It's not like
there's
it
a lot
used
of
to
teams
be,
that have
though.
Good guards are not Pro Bowlers. There's a lot of teams that have good centers that weren't Pro Bowlers. There's a lot of guys that have good running backs
Yeah,
that weren't
that's
Pro
right.
Bowlers. I mean, everybody can't make the Pro Bowl. And by the way, a lot of the ones that are BS anyway. A lot of it's fan driven. But so if the offensive line is better and the coaching staff,
well, it's going to be better. It's not going to be worse.
I'm hoping that Miles can be better. Now they're going to. I'll be shocked if they don't add a running back either. Maybe in the draft.
I think they need. I absolutely feel like they need a heavy hitting running back
Foreman
to go
perfect.
north and south. The Dante Foreman, in my opinion, when they let him go to the Falcons, was the biggest.
The Bears.
The Bears. You're right. Excuse me. The Bears. That was the biggest loss they have, because I still think even for the Bears, he was productive. He was just in a system that there was 3 guys. Right, and he wasn't getting any touches.
They're saying that he could be cut because the rookie they had last year had a great year, and they signed Swift from the Eagles.
They need a big physical run between the tackles type of guy. When you have a smaller quarterback that's not capable of getting those yards with your legs, they need a guy that's going to be able to be a sledgehammer and find those yards.
Yeah, and there's some good running backs in the draft too. Like I think they could get 5th round.
Yeah, you can get good running back, and that's been proven.
Yep.
Right, that's the one thing. That's why I didn't like Sanders when they brought him here, because they overpaid for him.
Yep.
They overpaid for a guy that they could have had in the draft for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. Hey, we'll slide to the break. Come back. We're gonna play the #1 game show on the radio. I got another game too, but y'all ain't ready for that one. #1 game show on the radio called Who Said That. We got the WHINER line coming back. My man DJ Stout and Frank Garcia in the building, man. Let's go.
Yo, Q, this your boy, Pocket Full of Dinero Beats, Instagram and YouTube. I love that Shannon Sharp skip drops that you use for your show. Them things funny. Funny is crazy. Funny is you know what. I ain't trying to cuss, my bad. But another good show. Keep tuning in every week. Keep doing your thing, Q. Peace.
You know your boy QCB at 80s, baby, man. Welcome back to Live with the QCB. Got us on Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. Check me out live online at foxsportsradiocharlotte.com. Got my man DJ the Suit Stout, the creator of Sports Talk Radio. And a lot of people done came through, man, that DJ done put on, man. And my man, former NFL player Frank Garcia in the building. Right now, before we slide to the Whiners, we'll play the #1 game show on the radio. Who Said It? Let's go.
Now it's time for the #1 game show on the radio. Who Said It? Here's your host, Mr. I Could Never Be Toast, Mr. I'm So Nice With It, Mr. Easy Money, son, Mr. Me Whack, never that. It's QCB.
All right, man, I got 2 contestants. This is easy money. I give you a quote, give you multiple choice, and you simply tell me who said it.
What do we win?
A handshake from me.
Is there a buzzer or something we're supposed to hit?
Oh, no. I got you. I'm going to give you equal opportunity.
Okay.
All right, here we go. First one. I think the analytics are a bunch of bull bleep. Who said it? A. Rick Pitino, St. John's head coach. B. Memphis head coach Penny Hardaway. Or C. Providence head coach Kim English. DJ Stout. Who said I think the analytics are a bunch of bull bleep? Who said it?
I'll go with B, Penny Hardaway.
All right, cool. Frank Garcia, who said it?
I was going to say the same thing. I think most athletes would probably agree with that.
All right, so you said
Penny
too.
Hardaway.
All right, DJ, you said Penny.
You big, tall, thick-tongued punk mother. You a thick-tongued idiot.
Frank, you said Penny Hardaway.
You big, tall, thick-tongued punk mother. You a thick-tongued idiot.
It was actually Providence head coach Kim English on not getting a bid to the big dance.
Oh, gosh.
All right, and I'll tell you why, Anyway, #2, every win is important. I don't care if it's in Timbuktu. Who said it? A, Skip Bayless. B, Greg Popovich. Or C, Draymond Green. Frank Garcia, who said it, babe?
Draymond Green.
Got him, write that down, all right. DJ Stout, who said they don't care if the wins in Timbuktu?
I mean,
every win is
again,
important.
I would say Draymond, but I'll go Popovich.
All right. You said Draymond Green. Okay, let's see.
You dumb, stupid son of a bitch.
DJ, you said Greg Popovich. It was Greg Popovich.
He got that by default. He was going to say the same thing I did.
On
I
his
certainly
Spurs,
wasn't going to say Skip Bayless, I'll tell you that.
they getting a dub in front of a sellout crowd at Moody Center. They have 32,000 and some change. All right, here we go. Another one. I just wanted to come out and be in attack mode. Who said A, Bucks Damian Lillard, B, NC State's DJ Burns Jr., or C, Caitlin Clark? DJ Stout, who said it?
I'm going to go B, DJ Burns.
All right, cool. Frank Garcia, who said it, big?
That sounds something like a woman would say.
You going Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark.
All right, let's go. You said Caitlin Clark?
You could learn a lot from a dummy.
DJ, you said Burns. Okay.
You dumb.
It was actually Damian Lillard.
Damian
I've
Lillard.
been the first Bucks player in the history to have 30 points and 15 assists. And I can't believe he's the first Bucks player to do that. That's crazy. All right, here we go. A few more. I can't remember the last time we got out rebounded by 22. Who said it? A, Hills coach Hubert Davis. B, Nuggets head coach Michael Malone. Or C, Houston's head coach Kelvin Sampson. DJ Stout, who said it? Who said they can't believe they got rebounded by 22?
Because they've got a great defense and they're a really good rebounding team, and they just got their butt whooped the other night. So I'll go Houston.
All right, boom. Who we got down?
I'm going Hubert Davis.
All right, cool. You said Houston.
You, sir, are an idiot.
You said Hubert Davis.
You're about the biggest fool in the soul.
It was the Nuggets head coach Michael Malone on this Nuggets pulling down 37 rebounds, and the Mavericks pulled down 60.
Wow.
All right, last one. I handled it the way I should have handled it. Who said it? A, Kenny Pickett, New Eagle. B, Justin Fields. Or C, Saquon Barkley.
Can we repeat that again, please?
Yeah. He said, I handled it the way I should have handled it.
I handled it the way I should have handled it.
That's right.
Yeah, give me the number, the order
It
again.
wasn't Jenna Jameson. It was A,
I
Kenny
was hoping for a
Pickett.
D on this one. The double D.
A, Kenny Pickett. B, Justin Fields. Or C, Saquon Barkley. DJ Stout, who said it?
Let's go Saquon.
All right, gotcha.
Is that C or B?
That's C.
Okay, I want to go B.
You going Justin Fields. All right, DJ, you said Saquon, okay?
You big dummy.
Hey, you said Justin Fields,
Yeah.
all right.
You
bastard.
How bad are we? We're worse than
It's not that
QCB
we're
at
bad.
making
It's like,
picks.
first of all, he springs the game on us without telling us. And second of all, who even looks at these quotes? Like,
Everybody
if you're going to
play
play
the
a
game,
game, you
they
need to
say
have
the same
something.
thing.
It's like playing,
He's giving you some advice on how to run the show
it's
now.
like playing a game on radio of algebra problems. Like, hey, all right, C squared. Like, you need to have something that people care about. What's that old quote about? Here's an idea. Next time you tell a story, have a point. Well, next time you have a trivia game, have some things that people might know instead of some of these dudes who's no one's ever heard of.
I think if DJ was managing you right now, he'd change the game.
First of all, DJ been taking those the whole damn show. He told me,
he's writing in circles.
He told me, Q, I got some stuff for you.
I told him I'd help. I'd take some notes.
You looking for this?
And by the way, when you're telling these little stories, here's a good idea. Have a point.
Oh,
it makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
All right, let's slide to the WHINER line right quick. Let's go. Where we at? There we go.
Nathan, your job is to come up with the marketing.
Now it's time.
Marketers market. Inventors invent.
By the
That's
way,
a slam dunk.
what happened to the P-flap?
Fox Sports Radio Charlotte presents.
The P-flap. Nathan, are you still on this horrible idea? The P-flap?
I thought you were into it.
It's an insane idea.
Everybody wants to pee in their car.
Nobody wants to pee in their car.
It's live with the QCBs.
I pee in my car.
You could pee all over yourself.
No, the tube comes up high enough that it'll catch everything.
Nathan, everybody's different. How big's the tube?
You put your balls and your in the tube, and that's that. And you have different size pee tubes if you happen to have big genitals.
What about the liability? What happens if you hit a bump with your and balls in a tube and it chops it off?
So people sign a little waiver or something.
Nathan,
Big deal.
What do women do? What do women do? Half of our market.
All right, so women don't have to use it.
You can't turn the interior of a car into a urinal. Bad idea. The car is perfect.
Sure, I could have worked something out for women.
The crying line.
Yo, Q, this your boy, Pocket Full of Dinero Beats, Instagram and YouTube. I love that Shannon Sharp skip drops that you use for your show. Them things funny is crazy. Funny is you know what? I ain't trying to cuss, my bad, but another good show. Keep tuning in every week. Keep doing your thing, Q. Peace.
I like that, man. Pocket full of dinero beats. That's the kind of feedback I'll be getting back, man. We got to get them 3 more days on the show for me, man. I want you guys by the station and, get QCB back full time.
We just talked about it between breaks about buying this, but when we did, we'd have to come in. The first thing I have to say to you be, "You're fired. You're fired. Get out."
Oh man, but I definitely appreciate y'all guys coming in, man. And I want to say, DJ, I love you, man, and thanks for all you did for us and the people on the radio, man. And Frank Garcia, love you too, baby. We're finna get up out of here.
All right,
now
brother.
you guys come back. We'll come back, football season and all that draft and all that stuff. Appreciate you. Let's go get something to drink. Your restaurant.
Yeah, it's having fun. Come on over.
Quail Hollow, right?
Yeah, we got half-price wine tonight.
That's what it is. All right, keep it locked right here, man. Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. I'll see you guys right back here Friday on Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. Live with the QCB. We out. I forgot. Kayla and Kobe got to take me home. Hold on.
I want to talk sports with somebody. I want to hear the facts from somebody. Yeah, talk sports with somebody. With somebody like QCB.
What can I say? Mamba out.